You are walking along a riverbank, perhaps the Coosa River in Alabama, and find a massive, heavy object washed up on the shore. It is a mix of cast iron and wood with rusty metal pins. It looks like a piece of a shipwreck or industrial machinery. It has patent dates on it. Does anyone know what this could be? This is the harp, or plate of an upright piano. Pianos are incredibly heavy and difficult to move, so historically, when a piano was damaged in a flood or simply unwanted, people would sometimes dump them into rivers to dispose of them. The wood casing rots away quickly, but the massive cast iron frame, which holds the immense tension of the strings, survives for decades. Finding one on a riverbank is a ghostly reminder of a musical instrument that was tossed away long ago. You find a plastic and metal assembly that looks like a shark fin with a clear plastic shield. It looks like a safety guard for a machine. It has slots and bolts. It was found in a garage workshop. Does anyone know what this could be? This is a riving knife and blade guard assembly for a table saw. The metal fin, the riving knife, sits behind the saw blade and prevents the wood from pinching closed on the back of the blade, which is the leading cause of dangerous kickback accidents. The clear plastic hood sits over the blade to keep your fingers away from the cutter and to deflect sawdust. Woodworkers often remove them for certain cuts and then lose them, which is why you found it detached. You find a small, black plastic object shaped somewhat like a bullet or a teardrop. It is hollow, but contains a piece of metal inside for weight. It looks like a piece of a toy or a model, but you can't figure out what it attaches to. It was found under an old cabinet or in a box of retro decorations. Does anyone know what this could be? This is the tail, pendulum, of a Kit Kat clock. These iconic Art Deco clocks, shaped like a smiling black cat with moving eyes and a wagging tail, have been popular in American kitchens since the 1930s. The tail hangs from the bottom of the clock and swings back and forth to keep time. Because it is detachable, it often gets lost during moves or knocked off by real cats who mistake the swinging plastic tail for a toy. Without the weight of this tail, the clock will not run. You find an antique beaded pouch with floral embroidery. It looks like a purse, but the opening is vertical slit, and it has long strings attached to the top. It doesn't look like you would carry it in your hand. It looks like it ties around the waist. Does anyone know what this could be? This is a historical tie-on pocket. In the 18th and 19th centuries, women's clothing did not have sewn-in pockets, like men's clothing. Instead, women wore these separate pouches, tied around their waist under their petticoats and skirts. They would access the pocket through a slit in the seam of their dress. These pockets were surprisingly large and could hold money, keys, food, and sewing kits. They are the ancestors of the modern handbag, and the reason we have the nursery rhyme, Lucy Locket lost her pocket. You find a small metal device stamped Pat, 1913. It has a wooden handle and a metal ring holding a small rotating dish or cup. The cup can swing freely. It looks like a tiny ladle that spills everything, or maybe a candle snuffer. It's clearly an antique kitchen tool. Does anyone know what this could be? This is a vintage tea strainer with a drip cup. You hold it over your teacup and pour the tea from the pot through the mesh strainer, which is often missing in found examples, to catch the leaves. Once you're done pouring, you tilt the device, and the strainer swings upright so that the wet tea leaves drip into the solid metal cup underneath, preventing tea stains on your tablecloth. It's a clever piece of Victorian or Edwardian engineering designed to solve a very specific problem of elegant dining. You find a green plastic bin in the back of a kitchen cupboard. It is about 8 by 8 inches. It has a specific molded shape, but it doesn't look like Tupperware because it has no lid. It looks like it slots into something. It's just taking up space. Does anyone know what this could be? This is a drawer or organizer bin from a refrigerator. Manufacturers often include these loose bins for organizing vegetables, meats, or cheeses. If the fridge breaks and gets replaced, people often save the bins thinking they might be useful for storage, but they rarely fit anything else properly. It likely belongs to a fridge that was thrown away years ago, leaving this orphaned plastic box to clutter your cupboard. You find a cast metal object, about 9 inches tall, shaped like a ram or an ibex with long, curved horns. It has a socket on the underside. It looks ancient and has a green patina. It feels like a museum piece. Does anyone know what this could be? This is a Luristan bronze whetstone finial, or handle. These artifacts originate from the Luristan province of western Iran and date back to the early Iron Age, circa 1650 BC. They were originally the decorative handles for sharpening stones, whetstones, carried by warriors or hunters. The stone would have been fitted into the socket. The Master of Animals motif, featuring ibexes or lions, is characteristic of this ancient culture. If genuine, it is a significant archaeological artifact. If a reproduction, it's a beautiful piece of history. You inherit a small ceramic object from a relative. It is about the size of a business card. It looks like a tiny toast rack or a very shallow vase. Google Lens calls it a calling card holder. Is that a real thing? Does anyone know what this could be? Yes, this is a vintage calling card holder or business card holder. In the Victorian and Edwardian eras, it was customary to leave a visiting card when you stopped by someone's home. These decorative ceramic or silver holders were placed on a table in the entryway to display the cards of recent visitors. Today, they are often used to hold business cards on a desk or repurposed as toothpick holders or sponge holders in the kitchen. In some cities, you might see a McDonald's with a weird, separate brick building in the parking lot. It looks like a small house or a gazebo with barred doors and windows. It has the McDonald's logo, but looks locked up and abandoned. It isn't a drive-through booth. Does anyone know what this could be? This structure was originally a playland gazebo or a party room. In the 1980s and 90s, McDonald's often built these separate outdoor seating areas for birthday parties or as smoking sections. As the company remodeled and moved play places indoors for safety and climate control, these external structures became obsolete. Instead of demolishing them, many franchises simply locked them up and used them for storage, leaving a ghostly gatehouse in the corner of the lot. You inherit a heavy metal cabinet from your grandfather. It has dozens of shallow drawers. When you pull a drawer out, it can hinge downward. It weighs a ton. It looks like a tool chest, but the drawers are too thin. Grandpa was a dentist and a rock collector, but this doesn't look like medical equipment. Does anyone know what this could be? This is a visible records filing cabinet, most famously made by the company Cardex. Before computers, this was the ultimate database system. Each shallow drawer held dozens of index cards lying flat, hinged so they overlapped like shingles. You could pull out a drawer and flip through the cards to quickly see patient records, inventory, or library catalogs. The visible part refers to the bottom edge of each card being visible at a glance. Your grandfather likely repurposed this sturdy, organized system to store his rock slabs or dental supplies. You find a small, vintage leather box, likely made in England. Inside, instead of an open space, it has narrow slots or ridges. It looks too small for jewelry, but too fancy for office supplies. It sits on a dresser perfectly. Does anyone know what this could be? This is a gentleman's stud or cufflink box. In the days of formal wear, men's shirts didn't have sewn-on buttons. They used detachable studs and cufflinks. These small items were easily lost. This box was designed to store them securely. You would slide the shank of the cufflink or stud into the slot, holding it upright and displayed so you could choose the right pair for your evening jacket. It's a relic of a more sartorial era. You find a small, silver metal ring at a thrift store. It looks like a signet ring, but the design is on a flat disc that hangs from the ring, and the design is upside down when you hold it up. It has a state seal on it. It's too small to be a normal pendant. Does anyone know what this could be? This is a wax seal ring, or a fob. Unlike a ring you wear on your finger, this was often attached to a pocket watch chain or a chatelaine. The reason the design appears upside down or awkward when hanging is that it is meant to be used as a stamp. You would press the metal face into hot wax to seal a letter. To do that comfortably, you hold the ring part as a handle, which orients the seal correctly for stamping. You find a small plastic ball, about the size of an apple, that splits into two halves. The top half is clear with small holes, and the bottom half is colored, often red or orange. It looks like a toy, but it was found in a kitchen drawer. It smells faintly of vinegar. Does anyone know what this could be? This is a reusable fruit fly trap. You fill the bottom reservoir with a lure, typically apple cider vinegar and a drop of dish soap. The scent attracts fruit flies, which crawl in through the small holes in the top. Once inside, they can't find their way out, and the soap breaks the surface tension of the liquid, causing them to drown. The apple shape is a cute design choice to hint at its purpose. It's a common household gadget for dealing with summer kitchen pests. You find a massive red metal ball in a ditch or at a construction site. It is about 4.5 inches wide, but weighs a staggering 20 to 25 pounds. It has a hole running through the center. It looks like a giant bead or a cannonball. It is far too heavy to be a toy, and it looks like serious industrial hardware. Does anyone know what this could be? This is an overhaul ball, also known as a headache ball. It is used on cranes and hoists. The heavy weight is attached to the end of the wire rope, cable, just above the lifting hook. Its primary purpose is to provide enough weight to keep the cable pulled tight and vertical when there is no load on the hook, preventing the cable from spooling loosely on the drum or tangling. The name headache ball comes from the obvious danger it poses to construction workers if it swings into them. You look up at an arched window in your house and see small gray plastic clips screwed into the frame, spaced evenly apart. They aren't holding anything now, but they look like they were meant to grip something thin. They are too small for curtains. They are just tiny plastic nubs cluttering the woodwork. Does anyone know what this could be? These are wire mounting clips. They were likely installed to hold a cable for a landline telephone, a television antenna, or perhaps a string of decorative Christmas lights around the archway. The cable would snap into the C-shaped jaw of the clip, keeping it neat and tight against the trim. Since most people now use wireless phones and Wi-Fi, the cables have been removed, leaving behind these empty clips as a reminder of the wired era. You are in an older house and notice a small, red plastic ball protruding from the ceiling in the corner of a room. It looks like a tiny light fixture or a sensor. It's about half an inch in diameter. It isn't a smoke detector or a sprinkler. It looks like it belongs to a different era of technology. Does anyone know what this could be? This is a beehive light indicator for a landline telephone system, likely made by Western Electric. Before the Americans with Disabilities Act standardized accessibility, these lights were installed in homes of the hard of hearing to provide a visual signal when the phone was ringing. They were also used in noisy areas like basements or garages where a ringtone might not be heard. It was wired directly into the phone line, flashing bright red whenever a call came in. You find a heavy, dark, red glass cylinder with a metal cap. It weighs about 300 grams. It has some inscriptions on it. It looks like a very specialized light bulb or a filter. It feels fragile but substantial. It was found in a box of random glass items. Does anyone know what this could be? This is a piece of vintage darkroom equipment, likely a safe light filter or a developing tank component. In the era of film photography, darkrooms used red safe lights because black and white photographic paper is not sensitive to red light. This allowed photographers to see what they were doing while developing prints without ruining the image. The heavy glass construction indicates it is an older, high-quality piece, possibly from the mid-20th century. A customer brings in a black rubber strap about 8.5 inches long. It has a latching mechanism on one end. It looks like a hood latch for a Jeep or a cooler, but it's slightly different. It's clearly meant to hold something down under tension. Does anyone know what this could be? This is a clean-out tool holder strap for a snowblower, typically found on MTD or Troy-built models. Snowblowers often clog with wet snow, so they come with a plastic shovel or stick attached to the chute to safely clear the blockage, since you should never put your hand in there. This rubber strap stretches over the tool to secure it to the machine, so it doesn't vibrate loose and fall into the snow while you are clearing the driveway. You find a gadget in an old box that once held a JVC video camera. It has a retractable metal wire that extends when you press a button and a combination lock dial on the top. It looks like a tiny measuring tape, but with a lock. It's about 20 years old. Does anyone know what this could be? This is a retractable security cable lock, often called a travel lock. It was included with expensive portable electronics like camcorders to prevent theft. You could loop the wire around a table leg or a bench and lock the end into the device, or a zipper pull on the camera bag. It provided a basic level of security for tourists carrying expensive gear, preventing a snatch-and-grab thief from running off with the camera while the owner was distracted. You are looking through a drawer of church altar decorations and find a strip of fabric with an elastic loop. It matches the other liturgical colors, but looks like a mini stole. It's tacked together in the middle. The elastic suggests it was worn on the arm. Does anyone know what this could be? This is a maniple. It is a liturgical vestment used in the Roman Catholic Church, specifically the traditional Latin Mass, and some Anglo-Catholic traditions. It is worn on the left forearm of the priest. Originally, in ancient Rome, it was essentially a handkerchief, mapilla, used to wipe away sweat or tears during the service. Over centuries, it evolved into a purely decorative embroidered garment, symbolizing the burden of sin, or the fruits of labor. Its use became optional in the modern Catholic liturgy, which is why it was tucked away in a drawer. You find a handheld tool made of plastic and metal. It has a hopper with small holes and a plunger that fits into it. It looks like it squeezes something. It's a common kitchen gadget, but if you've never used one, it looks like a torture device for thumbs. Does anyone know what this could be? This is a garlic press. You place a clove of garlic, peeled or unpeeled, into the chamber and squeeze the handles together. The plunger forces the garlic through the grid of small holes, extruding it as a mince. It is a staple in many kitchens for people who want fresh, minced garlic without the hassle of chopping it with a knife and getting sticky, smelly fingers. You find a tiny glass bottle about 6 inches tall with a cork stopper. It is completely hollow. It looks like a potion bottle from a fantasy game or a very small vase. It's too small for wine. It feels delicate and old. Does anyone know what this could be? This is an antique portable inkwell. Before ballpoint pens, people wrote with dip pens or fountain pens that needed to be refilled. A traveler or student would carry a small, tightly corked bottle of ink, like this one. They were often designed to be tip-resistant or encased in leather or metal for travel. It's a relic of a time when writing a letter required liquid logistics. You find a bag of plastic clips with 3M adhesive backing. There are small clips and larger semicircles with grooves. They look like they stick to the wall. You don't remember buying them. Does anyone know what this could be? These are cord organizers, often sold by brands like Command, or included with baby monitors and appliances. The clips are designed to stick to the wall or baseboard to hold electrical cables neatly in place, preventing them from dangling or becoming a tripping hazard. The semicircular pieces are often used to wind up excess cord length. They are the unsung heroes of cable management in a tidy home. You find a small, light metal button-like object. It looks like a rivet or a crimp. It was found near a shipping container or a truck. It seems insignificant, but it has a unique number stamped on it. Does anyone know what this could be? This is a high-security cargo seal, often called a bolt seal or bottle seal. It is used to lock the doors of shipping containers and truck trailers. Once the cargo is loaded and inspected by customs or the shipper, the seal is locked onto the door latch. It cannot be opened without destroying it, usually with huge bolt cutters. If the seal is intact and the number matches the paperwork at the destination, it proves the cargo hasn't been tampered with or smuggled during transit. You find a red plastic piece in a junk drawer. It is slightly curved and has clips on the ends. It looks like a handle, but it doesn't attach to anything you own. It says nothing on it. It feels sturdy, like it's meant to carry weight. Does anyone know what this could be? This is the detachable handle from a handy paint pail, or a similar paint cup system. These cups are designed for trim work and have a magnetic brush holder inside. The strap handle is adjustable and removable to make cleaning the cup easier. If you threw away the paint cup years ago but kept the useful-looking handle in a junk drawer, that is why it looks so familiar yet functionally useless on its own. On the wall of an RV bathroom, you see a white, dome-shaped plastic object screwed into the paneling. It looks like a doorstop, but the door opens the other way, so it can't stop the door handle. It's just a random bump on the wall. It looks like it's missing a piece. Does anyone know what this could be? This is the base plate for a magnetic door stop or a latch. In RVs, doors need to be secured while the vehicle is moving, so they don't swing wildly. This base would originally have had a matching piece on the door itself, either a magnet or a hook, to hold the door firmly in the open position against the wall. The other part likely broke off or was removed by a previous owner, leaving just this mysterious dome behind. You find several aluminum rods, about 8 inches long, with black plastic knobs on the ends. They are threaded at the tip. They look like levers or control arms for a machine. They are light but strong. They were found in a box of photography gear. Does anyone know what this could be? These are the pan and tilt handles for a tripod, specifically a classic model like the Tiltal. High-end tripods use separate handles to control the movement of the camera head. One handle locks the vertical tilt, and another locks the horizontal pan. Photographers often unscrew these handles to make the tripod more compact for travel or storage. If they get separated from the main tripod legs, they look like random metal sticks, but they are essential for aiming the camera. You find a metal tool about 4.5 inches long. It has a sliding mechanism. When you push the handle, a set of small metal fingers or prongs opens up at the bottom. It looks like a tiny version of a mechanic's grabber tool, but it's too small and delicate for retrieving bolts. It was found in a home bar or kitchen. Does anyone know what this could be? This is a vintage champagne swizzle stick. In the mid-20th century, some people found the carbonation in champagne to be too aggressive or believed it caused indigestion. This tool was used to stir the drink to release and reduce the bubbles, a process called swizzling. The retracting fingers were essentially a whisk that could be collapsed to fit into a pocket or a purse. It's a relic of a time when flat champagne was surprisingly a desired outcome for some sophisticated drinkers. You find a heavy metal object about 9 inches long with an offset handle. The main shaft is a precision machined steel pin. It looks like a tool for a giant machine. It was found in the street, perhaps dropped from a work truck. It feels solid and expensive. Does anyone know what this could be? This is a locator pin, or alignment pin, for a large industrial stamping press. In manufacturing, when heavy steel dies are loaded into a press to stamp out car parts or appliances, they must be aligned perfectly to avoid crashing the machine. This pin is inserted into a guide hole to ensure the die is positioned correctly. The handle was likely welded on by a machinist to make it easier to insert and remove the pin manually during setup. You find a 3-inch metal piece buried in the dirt near your water meter. It looks like a rusty hook or a latch. It has a bolt hole. It seems like it fell off something nearby, but the water meter itself looks intact. Does anyone know what this could be? This is the locking latch mechanism for the water meter pit lid. These lids usually have a pentagon head bolt that rotates a latch underneath to lock the cover to the rim, preventing tampering or accidents. Over time, the bolt can rust through, or the latch can work itself loose and fall into the dirt at the bottom of the pit. If you found it buried, it likely fell off decades ago during a meter reading and was replaced or forgotten. You find a triangle-shaped metal jig in the back of a closet. It has a sharp nail coming out of one tip and sliding blades on the sides. It looks like a weapon or a trap. You found 3 of them. There is no brand name. It looks dangerous. Does anyone know what this could be? This is the mounting bracket for a corner shelf system, often sold under names like Corner Keeper. It is a clever design for installing a shelf without a drill. You push the sharp pin into the drywall at the corner of the room, then slide a lever that drives the side blades into the walls for support. The shelf then sits on top of these brackets. They were popular for renters because they supposedly caused less damage than heavy-duty anchors, though they leave distinctive slice marks in the wall. You find a pair of white elastic straps with clips on the ends at a thrift store. They look like suspenders, but they are way too short to fit a human. They were near the men's clothing, so maybe they are some kind of weird garter. They look confusing. Does anyone know what this could be? These are bed sheet straps, also known as sheet suspenders or sheet grippers. They are the solution to the annoying problem of fitted sheets popping off the corners of the mattress in the middle of the night. You clip them diagonally across the bottom corners of the sheet, under the mattress, to pull the fabric tight. While they look like clothing accessories, Their true home is hidden under your mattress, keeping your bed made tight. You find a pair of brass talons or claws. They are about 2 inches long and have screw fittings on the bottom. They look like the feet of a brass eagle statue, but they are loose parts. They have distinct claws. Why would someone have just the feet of a bird? Does anyone know what this could be? These are the gripping ends, claws, from a set of antique coal tongs. Before central heating, coal fires were common, and elaborate brass tools were used to maintain them. The tongs often featured decorative designs, with the business end shaped like dragon claws or bird talons to grip the lumps of coal. The screw fitting attaches them to the scissor-like arms of the tool. If you found just the claws, the rest of the mechanism likely broke or was lost. You find a wooden pedestal with a board that moves when you press a foot pedal. It has nails and hooks along the top. It looks like a torture device or maybe a leather working tool, but it lacks a clamp. It was found at a flea market. Does anyone know what this could be? This is a table loom, or a rigid heddle loom stand. The foot pedal is likely connected to the harnesses or heddles, allowing the weaver to separate the warp threads, creating the shed to pass the shuttle through. The nails and hooks are for warping the loom, setting up the vertical threads before weaving begins. It allows a weaver to create cloth, scarves, or rugs using a complex interplay of foot and hand movements. You move into a house with a 1960s bathroom and see a strange tank mounted high in the corner above the toilet. It isn't connected to the toilet. The pipe goes into the wall. It looks like a cistern, but it doesn't flush. It's just a box of water on the wall. Does anyone know what this could be? This is an expansion tank, or feed and expansion tank, for an old gravity-fed radiant heating system. In older central heating systems, as the water in the radiators heats up, it expands. This tank, placed at the highest point in the loop, provides an open vent for that expanding water to go so pipes don't burst. It also keeps the system topped up with water. Finding it in a bathroom corner was common in UK homes to keep it hidden yet accessible. You are in a men's restroom at a shopping mall and see a tiled alcove or shelf built into the wall right above the urinal. It is about a foot deep. It looks like a fireplace for a urinal. Why would there be a shelf there? Does anyone know what this could be? This is a shopping bag holder. It solves a specific logistical problem for male shoppers. If you're carrying bags and need to use the urinal, you don't want to put your purchases on the dirty bathroom floor. This alcove allows you to place your bags safely at eye level while you do your business. It is a thoughtful, albeit slightly odd-looking, piece of architectural design found in high-traffic shopping centers. You buy a whittling or wood-carving kit and find a stick that looks like a crayon. It writes like a crayon but feels harder. Why would a carving kit come with a crayon? Does anyone know what this could be? This is a bar of stropping compound, or honing compound. It is an abrasive paste, typically made of aluminum oxide or chromium oxide, suspended in a wax binder. You rub it onto a leather strop, a strip of leather, like a crayon. Then, you run the blade of your knife backwards over the leather. The compound polishes the edge to a mirror finish, making it razor sharp. It is the final step in sharpening that gives you that scary sharp edge needed for clean wood carving. You find a plastic device in a kitchen drawer. It is a clear cylinder with red caps on both ends. It looks like a shaker bottle, but it's too small for a protein shake. Your wife bought it but forgot what it does. Does anyone know what this could be? This is a boiled egg peeler. The idea is simple but noisy. You put a hard-boiled egg inside with a little bit of water, snap the caps on, and shake it violently. The water cushions the egg, while the impact against the plastic walls cracks the shell all over. The water then gets under the membrane, allowing the shell to slip off in one easy piece. It's a specialized gadget for people who hate picking tiny shell fragments off their eggs. You find a weird silver spoon. The bowl of the spoon is partially covered by a metal hood, leaving only a small opening at the tip. It looks like a scoop for something specific. It belonged to a friend's grandmother. Does anyone know what this could be? This is an antique invalid spoon or medicine spoon. In the Victorian era, liquid medicines tasted terrible and were often dark and staining. This spoon was designed to help administer medicine to a sick person or a child lying in bed. The covered top prevented the liquid from spilling while moving it to the patient's mouth, and the small opening allowed it to be poured slowly and accurately without making a mess on the bed sheets. You find a plastic bracket at a thrift store. It has a lever that rotates to unlock a smaller ring part. It looks like a clamp for a pole. It feels sturdy and utilitarian. It was in the home improvement section. Does anyone know what this could be? This is a mounting bracket for a bicycle U-lock, or D-lock. The main clamp attaches to the frame of your bike. The smaller ring part is the spline that attaches to the shackle of the lock itself. When you are riding, you snap the lock into this holder so you don't have to carry the heavy steel lock in your backpack. Without the matching lock, it's just a piece of plastic, but for a cyclist, it's a backsaver. What was the weirdest object for you? Let me know in the comments and share this to test your friends. If you love uncovering these mysteries, hit like and subscribe. Your support helps us find more curious explorers like you. Stay curious.